Hey guys, Dimension Jump, and today I'll be reviewing Pokémon Legends Z-A, which was released back on the 16th of October of this year. Now, this is the second Legends game in the Pokémon Legends series, you could say, and like in Pokémon Legends Arceus, Legends Z-A has you being placed into a particular region or particular area of the region, and just basically you're just helping out the characters in that particular game. Whereas within Legends Arceus, you were in distant Sinnoh, in which it was called Hisui at the time of when Legends Arceus takes place. Whilst in the Pokemon Legends Z-A, you help out characters around Lumiose City in Carlos, which is quite cool, and you basically have to help this team called Team MZ, or ZA. I think it's called MZ, yeah. And yeah, because you go to this hotel in Lumia City, which is trying to collect or find people to stay at, and you learn from the characters there that there's this battle royale called ZA, and it's basically a battle royale system in which you start off at rank Z, being the lowest, and then throughout the course of the game you can rank, or you can battle characters in the story, and you can go up the ranks all the way to rank A. And throughout the course of the game you find Pokemon that have been undergoing Mega Evolution but without a trainer. It's kind of like how if you take out basically what it all amounts to is that you will have to fight rogue Pokemon that are basically going under Mega Evolution. I think that's what I'm trying to go with this. And throughout the course of the game, you meet several characters, new characters mainly, but there are some returning characters, with one of them being AZ, who's the king of Carlos thousands of years ago, as well as the one who created the Ultimate Machine, along with his Floettes, as well as Lysander, but who goes by L now. And this game takes place a few years, about 5 years or so, after the event of X and Y. So Legends Z-A is it's pretty much just a sequel to those games. And it's really cool, and I do like how Lumia City is done, because when you go to Lumia City in the game, it's undergoing this urban development plan in which people and Pokemon are trying to coexist, and in those areas, or in the urban development plan, you can find areas where you can catch different Pokemon. So, for example, in one area, you can catch a Machop, as well as some Drillbur, Krokorok, and a Sandel, and some other Pokemon. And in another area, you can catch a bunch of Ice-type Pokemon, and that's really cool. And throughout the course of the game, you do unlock more wild areas to explore and then catch Pokemon in. And yeah, I think it's one of those games that's really cool. So yeah. And now it's time for some gameplay. So when it comes to the gameplay for Legends Z-A, the main areas that you'll be battling at are these areas that are marked in red. So you've got this area, you've got this area, and you've got an area over here. And these are all called battle zones, and these are the main areas that you're going to be fighting or battling against when it comes to trainer battles. And you can also do regular Pokemon, like wild encounters and battles, so in all these different areas, and you will find different Pokemon in all the different areas. So for example, in Wild Zone 12, you will find mainly ice types, with a couple of other Pokemon like Go-Go, Machoke, and the Machop. But if you look at Wild Zone 20, you'll find late Pokemon, or basically post-game. Well, you can find the Pokemon some of the Pokemon in other areas, but mainly some of the main Pokemon you will be mainly getting are the other starters that you might have not gotten. So, for example, if you chose Totodile, you wouldn't be able to get Chikavita or Tepig until the post-game. and if you chose Bulbasaur, for example, in an earlier part of the game, you won't be able to get Charmander or Squirtle until the post game as well. So yeah, it's like you can still get like some of the other Pokemon. For example, you can still get Dragalge or Lucario, but it is required for you to level up your Pokemon and evolve them through those means. So yeah, and each area is big, or in terms of like each area is larger or smaller than or larger depending on which one you go to. For example, I believe that Wild Zone 20 is probably one of, if not the largest area in terms of wild zones in the game, because of it's located in the center of Lumiose City, and it has like the most amount of Pokemon. So you will see a bunch of Pokemon around, and also you can catch alpha Pokemon in the wild zones. And with Wild Zone 20, for example, it'll be Pokemon that you might not usually be able to catch. So, for example, Alakazam or Tyranitar, that sort of stuff. And when it comes to Mega Evolution, if you look at the bottom right hand side, you can see a sort of wheel, and if you press the R button or the R stick, you can use Mega Evolution, and all of your moves will be powered up, which is quite good. And like in Legends Arceus, you can take damage for yourself, but if you try and dodge the Pokemon attack, you will faint yourself. And you can select your team or your Pokemon. If you want to choose which Pokemon it's probably best for a particular fit or a particular fight. And yeah, it's all really cool, and I do like how the building system is a bit of an upgrade from Arceus, because with Arceus it was cool. I did enjoy the battling system for Arceus, but I think when it comes to Legends Z-A, it definitely takes the battling system Arceus had and updated the whole lot, so it's quite cool. And now I'm going to quickly show you a battle in the battle zones. So when it comes to the battle zones, you can find these different cards, and they all have their different things or different different challenges. So like hit a Pokemon with a super effective move. It can be whatever kind of move, depending on what card you have. You can also sneak up on particular characters or particular enemies, and it's all about like trying to get the advantage. And that's really cool, and I think it's always lets you help try and using different types of like moves, as well as using like depending on the Pokemon you have, might be if you like using like Pokemon that you might not be able to use in different Pokemon games, that sort of thing. And yeah, and I think again, like with Legends Arceus, I think the battling system when it comes to fighting different trainers is a lot better, because it makes you fight in real sort of time, so that's quite cool. And after every battle, you will get a certain amount of coins as well as a certain amount of points, and depending on the person that you fight, you can either get your team fully healed up, or they will give you a new card or some medals, which will translate into money. So I highly suggest when it comes to the battle zones, you should definitely try to do a lot of them, because it's a real good way of earning money, as well as as well as leveling up your party. It's so nice. And yeah, and I'm going to show you one more thing that I want to show you that was brought over from X and Y. So, similar to X and Y and a bunch of other Pokemon games, from X and Y onwards, you can have a bit of customization, but I think, in my personal opinion, the X and Y games and Legends Arceus, not Legends Arceus, Legends Z-A, gives you the best amount of customization because you're given a whole lot more stuff to work with in terms of what kind of outfits you might want to give your character. So, for example, if I went in here, into this shop, you're given different types of customizations to give your character. So, for example, you might get a top, or some trousers, or an all-in-one type of outfit, or socks, or shoes, or whatever. It really depends on the area that you're going to. So, for example, if I wanted to buy let's say the trousers, for example, I'll mainly have different options, but let's say if I wanted to go with this one, for the top, I can have different customization options. So I might want to have like a blue one, or a brown one, a yellow one, a purple one, or a blue one. It really depends on what you might want. So let's say if I went for this, for example, that looks like the coolest one out of the other ones. You can then change it into that if you buy it, but you can also change it from the settings. You can also change it. Hang on, if I bring up, you can bring it up or change your character from the main menu. So you can do all these different customizations, and if you buy the bundle, I believe you can get the X and Y specific costumes, which is quite cool. And also, I believe also similar to X and Y, if I go this way, you can get different hairstyles, but I think it's like different. I think it's still the same, but it's also different because you can also change the colour of your hair. So right now I've got aqua and passion pink on, which I think is a quite cool combination. But also you can have, let's say, grey and I don't know, gold, for example. Or you might, and you can also have them different combinations. Like you've got the main hair colour, and then you've got the colour blocking, and then you've got mainly just foliage, I think I'm pronouncing that right, where it's basically just the tips of your hair and different parts of your hair depending on which colours you've got. So, for example, I've got the grey and the aqua on for right now, but let's say I want to go with orange and let's say cream, for example, or pale blue or whatever. But yeah, I think, and if I stay for a bit longer, I think with the customizations, it's pretty much in how I see it, it's basically a whole lot better than the other Pokemon games that do literally use customization options, because you can basically just do whatever sort of customizations you want, and yeah, it's really cool in terms of how people would want to use different hairstyles for their own character and how they want to express themselves and stuff like that when it comes to the hairstyles or the customizations for clothing, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would say overall the game, when it comes to the customization of the character or the battling system or the Mega Evolution, is all really cool. And I think if we do get a Legends game in the future, a new one, I do hope they continue to update how the battling system is done, how the customization is done, and how everything is done. Or they might just continue with the whole Legends Z-A thing in terms of oh, this is how the battling system's done, this is how we are going to customize our characters, that sort of thing. But yeah, overall, Legends Z-A is a really, really fun game, and I highly suggest if you've played Arceus, then I highly suggest this game. And if you've played any of the other games when it comes to gameplay, I also highly suggest this game. So yeah, so that's been it for the gameplay. Now it's going to go back to the review. So since this is a sequel to Pokemon X and Y, Legend Z-A brings back Mega Evolution, and this is probably, if you've played the Pokemon series, probably the best feature in the whole Pokemon series, because Mega Evolution just does bring a whole new feature to battle and just gives old Pokemon a breath of fresh air or new light when it comes to this new feature, or when it comes to the feature. And there are a lot of the old Pokemon you saw in X and Y and Auras do come back. So you've got Mega Gallade, Gardevoir, Charizard X and Y, Absol, as well as a lot of the other old ones from X and Y and Auras. But you also get some new ones. So, for example, you can get the Carlos ones, and the only way you can get them is during an event. And right now it's doing Chestnut. You can get the Chestnutite for Chestnut, but if you do go get the Mega Chestnutite, or just the Chestnutite, you can get the Greninjaite and the Delphoxite at particular levels. I think if you reach rank S, you get the Greninjaite, and if you reach another particular level, you get the Delphoxite. Not 100% sure, but if you reach a particular level I think it's like rank S. No, I think with Greninjaite you get it at a lower level, but if you get the Chestnutite, you get it at rank S, and I think it does bring a new life, or bring a new life. It's similar with like X and Y. The new Megas you get in this game brings a whole lot of, or brings a whole new light to other Pokemon, and it brings the Pokemon that desperately needed them, or would have been cool to have them. For example, the Carlos starters. You've also got Phalanx, which is the small train of Pokemon just walking about, and they become this sort of like Power Rangers-esque type of Pokemon, where they form this giant body and as well as a sword and a shield. That's quite cool. Yeah, the one that's been memed upon recently is Starmie, in which it kind of looks like if Patrick Star from SpongeBob just grew grew a bit. So yeah, that was one that was kind of like I kind of saw around before I got the game. And you've got some new ones, and I'm not going to spoil all of them. I'm just putting out some of the ones that I think, some of the ones that are quite noticeable to me in terms of the new ones that we get to see in the game. And yeah, I think this is a good continuation from X and Y, because it does, even though you've got a new bunch of characters in the same region as X and Y, and in a particular area of that region, it still continues part of the story from X and Y and the consequences from that game, or from that particular generation. And yeah, it's so cool, and I do like how, similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, you do have a lot of free customization you can do, and you can kind of do that with the other games like X and Y. I think X and Y was which was the generation that started it, but with Legend Z-A, you have full-on customization with not only your clothes, but any accessories you might want to have with your particular character. You can even change your hairstyle, which is really, really cool. And I think there's like an entire side quest that revolves around you changing your hair, and revolves around a particular Pokemon. That's really cool. And yeah, and Pokemon Legends Z-A as a whole is such a really cool game, and in terms of like how it continues it has like, the same sort of battle structure as Arceus, but adapts it more or less expands the gameplay from Arceus, but it makes it a whole lot better, and it does bring Mega Evolution to the mix, which is really, really cool. And with the whole Battle Royale ZA system that's in place. It's really cool to just battle different trainers and trying to like basically just do particular side stuff to them. So like fight a bunch of Pokemon or fight a bunch of trainers without being spotted, or using a super effective move or any kind of move, or sneak up while using a specific move or something like that. And it's really cool of how this battle system just expands and just makes the one from Arceus a whole lot better. And yeah, overall, Pokemon Legends Z-A is such a cool game, and I do hope we get to see more Legends games in the future based on other regions. So like one in Unova, one in Kanto, one in Alola, one in Galar, and one in any of the other generations or the other regions, because it'll be so cool to see a different story in a particular region, like how we have done in Arceus and Z-A. So yeah, so that's been my review for Pokemon Legends Z-A. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.